Assalamu alaikum everybody, it's day 14 of Ramadan, and so we'll get our calendar down and we'll open up day 14. It's at the top. Let's see what it says. So it says learn a new surah. Well, that is perfect. A surah is a chapter of the Quran, and that leads us really nicely to our next book, which is called The Story of the Elephant, Surah Al-Feel, which is the 105th chapter of the Quran, and this is written by Hajera, Memon, and it is illustrated by Anisa, Nachett. The Story of the Elephant. Now, this is a special book. It's a novelty book. You're going to see a few surprises popping up. Here we go. Bismillah. Long, long ago, in the year 570 AD, the king of Abyssinia sent two rulers called Ariat and Abraha to Yemen. Ariat and Abraha were always fighting. They both wanted to rule Yemen alone. One day, they decided to fight each other. They decided that the one who killed the other would become the ruler of Yemen. They fought and Ariat was killed. Abraha became the new ruler of Yemen. When news of Ariat's death reached the king of Abyssinia, he was very angry with Abraha. Abraha sent gifts to the king to say sorry and promised to build him the tallest and most beautiful church in Yemen. Abraha wanted people to visit the church he had built, but he noticed that most people were going to the Kaaba in Mecca. He became very jealous. Abraha wanted his church to be better than the Kaaba in Mecca, so he began to force the Arabs to come to his church for pilgrimage instead. This made the Arabs very cross. A man from the Quraysh tribe in Mecca came to Yemen and saw the big tall church. He could not believe it. He was very angry and upset that Abraha had tried to build a new house of God. He disrespected the church by relieving himself inside it. When Abraha found out that a man from the Quraysh had made a mess in his church, he was furious and he wanted to have a fight with the Arabs. Abraha was so cross he sent an army of elephants to Mecca to destroy the Kaaba, stone by stone. When the army reached Mecca, Abraha captured 200 camels which belonged to Abdul Muttalib, who was the leader of the Quraysh tribe. He was also the grandfather of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Abdul Muttalib did not want the Kaaba to be destroyed, but he did not have enough men to fight Abraha's big army. The Kaaba was the holy house of God, and Abdul Muttalib knew that only God could protect it. Abraha called for Abdul Muttalib and asked him what he wanted. Abdul Muttalib said he only wanted his 200 camels back. Abraha was shocked that Abdul Muttalib did not ask him to stop the attack on the Kaaba. He was so surprised he asked, "Why are you only asking me about your camels? Why don't you ask me to save the Kaaba from being destroyed?" Calmly, Abdul Muttalib replied, "I am the owner of the camels, and the Kaaba has an owner who will protect it." Abraha was fuming at this reply and said, "I promise to destroy the Kaaba and no one can stop me." Abraha's threat scared the Arabs and they went to hide in the mountains. Abdul Muttalib ran to the Kaaba and said a prayer. "Oh my Lord, this is your house and only you can save it from being destroyed." In the morning, Abraha led his army with the biggest elephant called Mahmud towards the Kaaba. As they neared the Kaaba, a man came to Mahmud and whispered in the elephant's ear, "Kneel down, Mahmud, and then turn around and go back home safely, for you are in the holy city of God." The man then ran away to hide in the mountains. When Mahmud got to the Kaaba, instead of attacking it, he knelt down. Everybody was astonished as they had never seen such a thing before. Abraha's army hit the elephant to make him stand, but he stayed down. They turned him to the direction of Yemen and he stood up. They turned him back to the Kaaba and he sat down again. All of a sudden, God sent flocks of birds from the sea. Each bird carried 3 stones in its beak and its claws, and they dropped them onto the army. The stones fell on the army and defeated them. By now, Abraha was scared and he tried to run away. He was hit by the stones and died on the way back to Yemen. The two prayers of Abraham, peace be upon him, and Abdul Muttalib were answered by God, and the Kaaba was saved. To this day, God continues to answer their prayers and protects his house, and the Kaaba remains safe. The Arabs had never seen a big army of elephants before, and to remember the victory, that year became known as the Year of the Elephant. It is also the blessed year in which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. Every year, millions of Muslims go to visit the Kaaba to perform the pilgrimages of Umrah and Hajj. There are many important lessons that we can learn from this story. It teaches us that God answers the prayers of those who trust in him and he keeps them safe from harm. We also learn that we should be careful when we get angry. It was Abraha's anger which made him want to attack and destroy God's house. We must try to control our anger and forgive people when we are upset. Even when we are really scared, if we have faith and trust in God, just like Abdul Muttalib did, God will protect us too. The end. And there's Surah Al-Feel written here in English. And there's a quiz at the back and some activities in here in a secret pouch. I really love this book. I think it's one of the first of its kind that's an Islamic pop-up and playbook. And the playbooks is here where there's lots of interactive kind of elements of pulling things down, there's flaps on other pages, and of course lots and lots of pop-ups. So it's amazing, this book. It's a great gift. This book is done by Shade 7, so if you'd like a copy for yourself, you can go to shade7publishing.com, or you can go to any of our stockists that have this listed, and any good bookstores.